Next on the news. It's a dream about to become a reality. A father of 6 will perform on stage with his daughters.
A Queens parishioner has been composing music for decades, but this week he'll put on his first big show. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have the details coming up.
The school bell is about to ring, and Catholic Charities is making sure that local students are ready to get back to class, giving out school supplies to more than 300 families. Thursday marks the Solemnity of the Assumption of Mary, and a Queens church is honoring the Holy Day of Obligation with a custom-made display. Plus, 5 million tourists visit it every year, but it was more than 500 years ago, Thursday, that the Sistine Chapel was first consecrated. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. This family shares a sacred talent. They all have the voice of an angel, and now they're using their God-given gifts to share the good news. The show, titled Revelation, is a labor of love from the Connolly family patriarch. Gerard Connolly has spent years writing down lyrics inspired by the scripture he heard at Mass. His musical masterpiece, To His Faith, will be on full display this Friday at Brooklyn's Emmaus Center. More details on that in a moment, but first, Currents News' Katie Vasquez gives us a sneak peek of the show from Howard Beach.
You ready?
The Connolly family home in Howard Beach has always been filled with music.
My 3 girls sang together since they could really breathe. I mean, we used to be in the car and not turn the radio on, just listen to them sing.
I don't remember a time when we weren't singing or playing music.
But for the past 6 weeks, this musical family has been singing for a purpose. This Friday, they will perform a show called Revelation at Brooklyn's Emmaus Center. Its songs were completely written by Gerard, a lifelong dream for him that is finally coming true.
It's the culmination of everything that we have dreamed for my father for so long, because he's made a lot of sacrifices in his life to make sure, obviously, that he could provide for his family. And so his art has really taken a back seat for a very long time.
Blessed are you. When he wasn't working his day job in healthcare, Gerard always scribbled lyrics down when he had free time. Although he was raised Catholic, it wasn't until he was 20 years old that he reconfirmed his commitment to Christ.
I've always had a deep desire to learn about our faith.
During the pandemic, he got the idea to put all his songs into what he calls musical meditation, incorporating scripture passages and sacred art into a show about the life of Jesus.
It starts at creation and it ends at the resurrection.
His hope is that the 23 songs could eventually be used in parishes, youth groups, and Bible studies as a form of religious education. His daughter Shannon believes it will open the minds of even those who have strayed from their faith.
I think anyone, even if they've been away from their faith for a while, can come and take away something. Let it be done now to me.
For Gerard, getting to perform his work on stage is a dream, but the part he's most proud of
is just to sing with them is joy of my life.
In Howard Beach, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Wow, beautiful. You can still get tickets to the Emmaus Center show, which, as Katie mentioned, is this Friday, August 16th at 7 p.m. Just go to the number 3, leafproductions.com/revelation for details. Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens is preparing kids in the diocese for back to school. The organization joined forces with Univision, which helps support the Hispanic community, to hold events in both Brooklyn and Queens. At the celebration in Sunset Park, some 350 families got the supplies they needed for the first day of school. And at the event at the New York Hall of Science in Queens, there were informative panel sessions and tons of giveaways. The Oklahoma school that was on track to be the nation's first publicly funded religious charter school has now had its contract rescinded. The vote by the Oklahoma School Board comes with the caveat that it can be reinstated if the state Supreme Court reverses its decision that religious charter schools are unconstitutional, or if the U.S. Supreme Court steps in. St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School was set to open this fall. Church officials in Oklahoma are planning to appeal the court's decision. Thursday is the Solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and a Queens church honored the feast day with a custom-made Marian statue. The image at St. Mary's Winfield Church in Woodside is of the Dormition of Mary, or the falling asleep or death of the Mother of God. It's based on Eastern icons and is the brainchild of the pastor, Father Christopher O'Connor. Father O'Connor says with the help of 2 area businesses, they worked on the magnificent display for about 3 hours Wednesday night, and parishioners at morning mass were thrilled to see it. Meanwhile, the French government is warning of a very high terrorist threat on this holy day of obligation, urging places of worship to be extremely vigilant. The French Minister of the Interior said services, gatherings, processions, and pilgrimages at sites traditionally associated with Marian devotion face particular danger. More than 30,000 pilgrims are expected at the shrine of Our Lady of Lourdes on this feast day. During his Angelus on the Solemnity, the Holy Father reminded pilgrims that the Blessed Mother goes before us on the journey of life.
Brothers and sisters, we must not imagine Mary as a motionless wax statue. Instead, in her, we can see a sister with worn-out sandals. And with so much weariness in her veins for having followed the Lord and in meeting brothers and sisters, concluding her journey in the glory of heaven. And this way,
Thursday also marks more than 500 years since one of the most famous chapels in the world was consecrated, and it can be found at the heart of the Vatican. On August 15, 1483, Pope Sixtus IV dedicated the chapel that would soon be named after him to the Virgin Mary on the feast of her Assumption. But the Sistine Chapel would not be completely finished until 1512, after Michelangelo added some of his most renowned work, including the creation of Adam and the Last Judgment, which the artist connected in a unique way.
Michelangelo had a specific theological reasoning behind the nudity. Being the Last Judgment, man's nudity is just as when he came into the world during creation. It thus ties in together with man's creation, represented by the famous meeting of the hands.
These famous frescoes line the walls and ceiling of the Sistine Chapel and are the backdrop for many important events in this papal chapel, from baptisms, masses with the Pope, to serving as the room where cardinals from around the world gather to elect a new pope. And in the center of this chapel is the Last Judgment piece, where Mary has a central place. This is a stark reminder of her ties to the Sistine Chapel that date all the way back to its dedication on August 15, 1483. It took Michelangelo 4 years to finish painting the Sistine Chapel, and today some 5 million tourists visit the sacred site every year, with peaks of around 20,000 visitors a day. Before we go, in honor of this Solemnity of the Assumption, we'd like to say a prayer. Dearest Holy Mother, Most Holy Mary, you undo the knots that suffocate your children. Extend your merciful hands to me. I entrust to you today this knot and all the negative consequences that it provokes in my life. Mary, undoer of knots, pray for me. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.